me associate the pictographs on the $1 bill with God, because by the time I had got serious about writing the book, I discovered that this entity, what I call an entity, I call it a God-like being or a God-like entity, but not God. And I say that several hundred times over the 1990 pages, because until I got serious about writing the book, I believed it was God. And then when I did my research, I discovered that it was a remnant race of beings, which Jade and Chris and Chantel discussed last week, that have been on this world controlling all the aspects of our political and religions and theologies for several tens of thousands of years or longer. And that this entity or God-like being, or this remnant race of society that has controlled everything in our world, including what we understand and believe to be true, I discovered that it was all a lot of rhetoric, lies, and dogma, and that they put this, all the pictographs on the bill and the words in the Bible, so that they would know who they were in this world. Now, I've portrayed this to Bob Cosberg, who is the front man for Steven Spielberg, because I'm trying to sell this concept. And when I put it to them like that, when I first speak with a front man for a movie or a miniseries on television, they say, we'll sell your idea in 72 hours or a week, we'll have a check for you. As soon as they throw that concept towards the movie directors in Hollywood, the producers, they are instantly shut down. I mean, when I put the portrayal of the concept before them to sell the idea, either it's an email or a telephone call, they can sell this idea in a day. Once they go to the people that are behind the scenes, they call me back and tell me no one's interested in your idea, which proves that they know that what I said is true, that there's a secret society or remnant race of beings that are in control of everything, and that this methodology that they have utilized with the $1 bill and the words in the Bible has been the code that they have used since 1934 to know who they are, and now that computers have taken over the world, they no longer need this code or the end of their mission as far as their ability to hide in secret places in plain sight, where we have no ability to encrypt or decrypt anything they have on computers. Now they're going to use a different way to communicate with each other. But during the time that there were no communications of telephones or computers, so to speak, they have used this methodology in our history immediately past, and in all previously histories. Since the Bible was written, there was probably a different glyphic nature of encryptions on a different set of scrolls that we don't even know about, the same way you weren't allowed to read the Bible prior to Martin Luther. So yeah, that's part of what I've discovered. It's not God per se, but that this is one of the most serious issues that has ever existed on this planet, and that I immediately got bombarded with, well, don't worry, we can sell this idea. And as soon as they throw it out to the people that are behind the scenes, it gets squashed. This idea is the most unique idea in the history of the world, that I associate the dollar bill with the Bible. Even if it was 100% lies, half-truths, or complete deception, the concept should have sold. They will have nothing to do with it, because it exposes the people of this world that are in control for what they are. And I'm sorry to go on and on like that, but I've been trying to sell this. Okay, go ahead.
That's true that those in charge have embedded messages of the Bible, and the Bible reaches back to Egypt. And during the time of the Mesopotamia age, which is the Sumerian age, and prior to that for 1 million or so years, was the recreation of human DNA. And so Sumeria came about because of the Anunnakis. the messages of the Anunnakis are written all over the tablets. And there are probably correlations of Egypt, the Bible, and its misrepresentation in the Bible to manipulate the monetary system. So in effect, the laws which are written, they try to codify that with the Bible, the message of God. But behind the scene, like if you take, for instance, Sunday, the day of worship, that is the day of the sun. That's the planet day for the sun. And Jesus is representation of the sun for the Father's Son. Everything is a symbol, and so it's helpful to know that you have broken down a lot of the symbols for us. But I have a worry about the, what did you say, not nuclear bomb, did you say the nuclear bomb?
Well, I call it a nuclear detonation, yes.
Yeah, nuclear detonation, which did already happen, which was timed, the atomic bomb, and that was all, people that make things happen these days have picked certain days of astrology, which is also part of the Anunnaki race, to create certain days where negative powers can exist. And exactly what you just said about the nuclear detonation. When that happens, it's symbolic of the planets as well. But I think that a lot of changes are on the horizon simply because the planets have changed. And during those times when they did have information from the priesthoods, the Sumerians, not Atlanteans, but the Anunnaki race that had given to the priests of Egypt the hidden knowledge and then transferred that to the Bible, and certain priests were allowed to have that hidden knowledge. Well, today, that knowledge is not given. And if you believe that the templates for the dollar was with different people in different rooms, it is because they have that message from a different being that's giving them that message. And I have studied the Illuminati, so to say, the world elite, and how they operate. And one of the interesting things is that they have this 3 women who have certain powers as a trio, and they can invoke certain entities to come through. And so if they have the ability to do that, they can get messages from different dimension entities. I don't believe that today there's enough serious players on the good side of energy to really make an impact. But the planets are changing. The magnetic field of Earth is changing. And if that's the case, all of the previous dogmas and previous programmings that have been going on is going to see a diminish of its powers. And I think that the world elites are panicking. You know, they will go back underground.
Literally.
13 bloodlines as well.
When you say underground, Jade, you mean literally they will go back underground where they came from.
Right. In the Dark Ages was the Knights Templar and the Masons. The Masons had a good start. The Rosicrucians had a good start, but then they were infiltrated by negative entities. And from that, we saw that they were underground in the Dark Ages, and they will soon go underground again. And there's a reason for that. It was 13 royal families that were supposedly from the bloodline of Adam and Eve, which was, again, the creation of the Anunnaki race with the first real, whatever, what you want to call it, humans. Getting a lot of feedback in the background there.
Yeah, I'm getting that also.
Yeah, well, with that, Yeah, this is a lot of information. I wish we could go all night here, but we are at the end of the show. And, you know, we want to
thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. Yes, Al.
Jade, you need to come on the beginning of the show so that when Chantel throws those bombs at me, you could back me up.
She's a very naughty girl, that's for sure. Very naughty.
I need backup when she's up there with those little drone bombs. You won't see it coming.
Well, once again, hey, we'd like to thank you again, Michael. It was a pleasure having you on, as always. Rocco, thanks for your help.
Oh, yes.
To the caller, the ladies, Chantel and Jade, to all of you out there, as Michael Fazio would say, God day.
God day to you all. And thank you, Chantel, Jade, Bo, and Rocco, and the rest of the people who called up. I would really like more people to participate next week, and the ladies just have to come back and bombard the Faz.
Alright, I'm sure we can work something out. Thanks again for listening, folks. We'll see you next Wednesday, 10 to 12.